Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode 44. We're on 44th show, the 44th episode of the World Radio League show. This is awesome, guys. Great to see everyone here. I will never understand why StreamYard defaults that track looping feature to on, but anyway, you heard the first part of the intro track twice, so we'll just leave that as it is. Great to see everyone here. We have a fantastic show, a couple new things to demo for you. We've got lots of stuff to talk about, and I found out that there's not a lot of you that like to stick around at the end for the propagation forecast. So we're going to do the propagation forecast a little earlier in the show today, and then cover some really exciting news and updates towards the end of the show. So great to see everyone here. Stick around because we're going to cover all kinds of fun stuff today. Great to see all of our good friends in the chat. And it's my friend Larry, NA40X, is on I-44 right now. I'm like literally a couple miles from I-44 at the moment. So yes, Larry, episode 44 today. We have, of course, James in 0WRL in the house. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing awesome. Happy to be here, as always. Ready to get this cranked off. Big week, big exciting week. A lot of things to talk about today.
Absolutely. Got all kinds of stuff to talk about. So first off, I mean, just kind of diving straight into it. There's tons of contests going on right now. And James, it's been a week and a half this last few days. I had an asthma attack. Somebody crashed into my car, had all kinds of things happen. So I have not been paying attention to the contesting space. So why don't you kind of pull up the contest page for us and show us kind of what's been going on and tell us about what you've been working the last few days as far as contests go, because I have been distracted. But yeah, we're very, very happy to be back in the shack, back in the studio. And there you go, James. James has it pulled up right now. Let's talk about contests.
Hey, I love it. Great way to jump right in. And I just happened to kind of check the contest page in World Radio League just to see what contests were going on. Brad K4AZE does a great job of keeping all those contests up to date for us. So we'll drop the link. If you are curious what contests are live right now or what contests are coming up, the World Radio League contest page is a great place to keep up with that and hop in.
Yeah.
But I looked last weekend. If you go to the recently completed contest,
just quick pause here. I love the fact that we redesigned this page, and I'm gonna keep talking about it because it's so cool. Live contests, upcoming contests, recently completed contests. 3 tabs. Check all 3 tabs because you might find some really cool information from a contest you participated in on this last tab. The middle one, you'll be able to see what contests are coming up really soon. And of course, the live contest is what you really want to watch, when those start to pop up. But this is a new design, a new recently redesigned UI, and I'm loving it. So
yeah, and I mean, look at I mean, that's a great intro, Andy. And the thing, look, the way we designed this contest page in World Radio League is we want it to be a single stop shop where you can see all the major contests that are happening in ham radio. But it also makes it super easy to just jump in and start logging. Like, I'm a casual contester. Andy's a casual contester.
Yeah.
Most of us are not the big gun contesters. Hey, we would love for those big gun contesters. Come in here, give us a try and use it. But more than anything, you just want to hop in. And I went in over the weekend and look at all these contests that just completed. Georgia QSO Party, CQWS 2026 World Scout Contest, Missouri QSO, North Dakota QSO Party, Hungarian.
I missed the Missouri QSO Party. Can you believe that? I was so tied up
last
week.
Heck,
I missed
Andy?
the Missouri QSO Party.
And
Larry did say that propagation was poor, but the Missouri QSO Party was still a success. He placed number 1 out of those on the World Radio League leaderboard. So congratulations, Larry. I wish I could have been there and given you a run for your money, but alas and alack, it was not for me this year.
Then we had the Yuri Gagarin International DX contest.
We'll talk a little bit about that in the a little bit later on because that's a really cool Yuri Gagarin special event there and contest. But yeah, did you get a chance to operate that?
I didn't, and I can hop into a little story here in a second. I want to tell you about like my little, you know, ham radio is always a learning experience. It's never just as simple as turning on the radio and operating. You learn, the more you do ham radio, the more you learn that. And I learned a lot this last weekend about noise and interference.
Why don't we take a look at the at some of the rest of the contest here, and we will circle back to that here in just a couple minutes, because that is really cool. I know where you're going with that.
So I'll come back to that, but just to kind of you know, give your quick review. Come in, you can click into these, and you can actually see who participated in these. Here, my home state of Georgia. Lee Johnson, Ryan Gibson, some guys I know and I've met.
Which contest is this one?
This is Georgia QSO Party.
Georgia QSO Party. I knew that there's Georgia State Parks on the Air and Georgia QSO Party were both recent. So
yeah, take a look. What's really cool is like take a look at like the Yuri Gagarin contest for instance just happened. I mean, just in WRL we had over 1,700 contacts. And I really love to see. We've got a lot of different international operators coming in here. We've got Alex from Russia hopping in here. It looks like SP5. Where's that? That's a Polish call sign coming in second. We've got Dennis from France. You know, sometimes people say, "Hey guys, where's all the international contests?" Well, they're in here. So we are working, to make sure we're supporting the whole world. And for those guys in the U.S., that means that you're going to get more of those DX contests when you come in here. So
James, let's drill just a little bit deeper into these, and can you show us kind of what sets these QSO Party contests in our system apart from other contests? Kind of what we have, what specialty exchange fields we have, and kind of how those are usable. Since we're kind of rolling into QSO Party season, this is a good time to talk about this.
100%. And by the way, guys, if you're like, oh, dang, I missed all these awesome contests that you're talking about, there's tons of upcoming contests. So just go to the upcoming contest page, enroll in them. It'll build you your logger. But what really makes ours special, especially like the QSO Party, is we have engineered support for these QSO parties. So it builds you a logger, right? So you can go to your logbook. You can also get to your logbook right from your logbooks page. But what you'll notice that this field that's highlighted in blue says Georgia County. Well, the blue highlighted field is it's the exchange for that specific contest. So in this case, the exchange for the contest is the county. So you'll actually notice we have, thanks to really hard work by Brad, K4AZE, and Surafel, they have entered in all the counties for all of the different QSO parties. So it'll check you and help you make your exchange that much easier by entering the county for QSO parties.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really awesome. Just a quick, quickly bring in Catalina here. We've got Catalina joining us, so she'll be along for a while here. But yeah, James, I see you brought a comment here up on stage. Ed said he used World Radio League for the Georgia QSO Party, and the drop down really helped him for the county and state. That is really incredible, Ed. Glad that you gave us a try, and glad that worked so well for you.
Yeah, that's all. And look, you can see Ed right there, number 4 on the leaderboard here. So that's earns you a follow. And I'm gonna head over to your profile here on WRL and give you a follow. Thanks for the shout out, and thanks for using us for the Georgia QSO Party.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is fantastic. So I also wanted to give just I saw this comment come in and I wanted to give it a shout out. Brandon says, thanks for y'all's hard work. Just got my tech thanks to y'all. Brandon, that is incredible. That you are incredible. Go kill it out there, man. Have fun operating as a tech, and don't forget, General is a pretty easy next step. So, man, great to hear that.
All right. Well, and so just to kind of round out some of the contests, go into that contest page. What you've got coming up, you've got great contests coming up. You've got the NTC. What is that? The New England? Let's see. The NTC is Netherlands. Oh, wow. We got a Netherlands QSO party. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was coming up. You got Netherlands QSO party. You've got Texas State Parks on the air, Florida State Parks on the air, Worldwide Holly Lens Contest, ES Open. That's Estonia. Let's go. CQMMDX contest, World Time Zone Challenge, Georgia State Parks on the air, Michigan, Ontario, Quebec. We've got all kinds of QSO parties. This is just in the next couple of days.
Coming up May 3rd, the 7 area QSO party. That one's big. So yeah, just be forewarned, that one's coming.
So check it out. Upcoming contests.
Absolutely.
Enroll in them, and look,
it's really easy. One click enroll, totally free. You don't have to have any of our paid premium accounts that enroll in a contest. It's really super easy to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Keith Dreyer says he wants to get his generals, just not good at taking tests. There's this really great app, Keith, called Ham Radio Prep, and I would highly recommend you check them out. So,
also, can I add something about contests?
Yes,
we always post on social media the contest one day before. So if you want to check, I know that sometimes I think this week there is a contest on Thursday or Wednesday, so in the middle of the week. So if you want to check out what contests are next, you can check social media. We always post the day before the event.
Good call.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. James, well, actually, Catalina, this is going to kind of segue into our next point. So I'll go ahead and let you briefly talk about it. Catalina, what's up with mugs for map shares this week? How's that going? People posting a lot of maps?
Yes, well, yes. It's going good. I think that the month just started, so I'm waiting for more maps this month. So for the ones that don't know what we are talking about, Max for Map Share is an ongoing project that we have every month, where you have to share your World Radio League maps on social media, and you start participating for a free mag. We have 5 winners per month, and you just need to share your map and tag World Radio League accounts on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and that will count as a point. If you share 10 maps, you'll get 10 points. As many maps you share, as many points you got. So that's very easy to participate. And the most important, don't forget to tag World Radio League account so I can check them.
Absolutely. And Terry says that he's still waiting on his mug, but the mailman's late today, so he's hoping it's coming in today.
You should have been nice to. You should have been nice to Catalina, Terry. If you'd been nice
and
to
your
Catalina.
mailman. We don't know what mailman.
I asked them to send that mag later. Later this month.
He is. I noticed that Terry is saying Catalina now, which means that I think he's happy about his mug.
You better be glad you started calling her Catalina. Otherwise, she may have forgotten to send you the mug.
Mug.
So, speaking of mugs,
talking about maps here. Sorry, James, were you getting ready to say something?
I was just going to say, I do have the latest version of the Q code. So for those, it's too dark in here.
Yeah.
You guys can't see it, but
James, are you using your R10 camera?
Yeah.
Spin the wheel on the top just a little bit to brighten it up. There you go. There you go.
Hey, look at you, Andy. We got that. Wow, that was really easy. So look at this. This is you can see the Q, in person you can read this very easily, but it has all the Q codes and their meanings on here. There's the QSO, QSL, QTH, QRZ, QSY, QRT.
Yep.
These aren't these are the most popular ones, right? And so this is the new mug. These will be available for sale, but we're giving them away for free too. So
absolutely.
Exactly. That was because a lot of the World Radio League users were sharing many mags. So many maps. So they were getting they were winners for a second time. That's what happened. So if you were a winner before, don't stop sharing your maps. You have a chance to get another mag. So that's
absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely. We got a couple questions come in around these contests. So I'm going to step back and take a couple of those really quick. and then we will. Rosanna's asking you, Catalina, if you got enough likes from last week to get the radio. Not quite.
I haven't checked, but I don't think so.
I don't think there was quite enough.
I forgot about
QOS
that. That
means I just spilled my coffee. So yeah, you never want to hear QOS on the air. That's a bad one. So Indie Locator says he used World Radio League for 4 contests at the same time. Had each of them in their own tab for Georgia QSO Party, Missouri QSO Party, North Dakota QSO Party, and one of the others. That is really awesome, Indie Locator. I would love to know more about how that worked for you, how that felt. And if you have any suggestions moving forward, feel free to drop me an email, andy@worldradioleague.com. I would love to hear more about that experience. And, if you have any suggestions there. So really, really cool feedback there. HamKJ5 says, if we're in a contest, can World Radio League add a points section or maybe a map of counties of your state checked off or colored for counties obtained and a list of counties logged and are missing? These are all things, James, speaking from my perspective, these are all things. Yes, we're absolutely going to add these in, the coming months, but they are not like immediate next steps. What's kind of your take on this?
Yeah, this is coming. I will check our internal documentation and see if I can give a better timeline. But I'll say this: right now, when you go into contests at World Radio League, what we do awesome is we give you an easy place to enroll in contests. We make it easy to log. We make it easy to participate. And you can see live leaderboards. You can see who else is contesting. Now, every single contest has a different way that they actually score the contest. They have multipliers. They have points. For some of those contests, like Field Day, we officially support the scoring. For most contests, we just kind of do 1 point per QSO, and we're still working on that. So we have a big back end update that we're working where every single contest in the future, we will be scoring it appropriately. It's just I was talking to somebody in our community pages about this just this morning. We are working towards that to where we can support pretty much every major contest. We'll be able to score it correctly and show you which points and multipliers you've earned.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great great piece of information there. So TLDR, it's coming, not yet. So I'm really excited about some of the things we have coming. James, quick note, you may have dialed the brightness up a little too far. You might want to pull back on that.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
There you go, right there. Stop. Oh, you might have gone too far.
I was in like perfect. A shadow, and then I turned into an angel. It was funny. Right. We were like we're working on these new like technician videos today, and it's so funny because when you're video editing, the way that you edit the video, it changes everything, right? Like makes your skin tone look different, it makes your eyes look different and everything. And I'm saying, come on, guys, you got to make me look good in these videos.
Jerry says to leave your brightness alone. He's trying to get a tan. Absolutely. So James, quick note for you, and this may affect other people who stream and shoot video as well. I've been using the Elgato 4K capture card, and that comes with a great software where you can dial in some of the color tones and color profile a little bit. So just a note, if you're interested, you might try. And it also helps eliminate some of those issues with the EOS software timing out and everything. So if you want to try the capture card, that might be of benefit. So.
I think I just got to get rid of this window.
We're
gonna put something on the
James
window.
All of a sudden jumps up in bed stream and takes a hammer crash. All right, took care of that problem. Now
you can see my pass through though. There's that's my pass through,
yeah,
and there's
very
a nice big old ferrite bead there to get rid of that common mode current on the cable and clean up my signal. So it works pretty good.
Absolutely.
Shout out to ABR Industries for the
coax. Okay, very nice. Rodney's asking, have we gotten WRL added to the ARRL field day logging options? So I think you're asking if we're listed in their list yet. So James, have we got to that point yet?
I don't know. I mean, I'll email them, Rodney. That's a good point. I mean, we just need them to add there. We will 100% be supporting Field Day within World Radio League. I mean,
absolutely.
We're one of the most popular loggers for it, in fact. And one of the things that we do really well for field day is multi-op. I mean,
Yeah.
most of these loggers really struggle for doing multi-op and doing club operations. We nail it. So.
Absolutely. We totally do. Let me throw this question at you. Just kind of pick your brain a little bit, for lack of a better term. So what are you thinking timeline wise on cat control in the desktop app? I know Terry's asking about this in the chat. That, that is going to solve some of the problems we saw with Winter Field Day, multi-op, or club logging. What's kind of the timeline for integration there? I can give my best estimate, but you've kind of got oversight of all this. What you kind of thinking?
I think last week when we talked about timelines, I think we were saying 4 to 6 weeks. I think was about what we were estimating. So I probably revised that this week to 3 to 5. I think we're close.
Okay.
Interesting kind of little back end info for you. We have an amazing developer on our team named Najam.
Yeah,
he's getting married right now.
He's literally getting married right now. So
if you want to know why we're waiting on the cat control, we're waiting on somebody to get married, and then so we're trying not to bug him too much. Terry, but I think we're in 3 to 5 week range on cat control.
Absolutely. HamKJ5 says, thanks for the information. Love WRL. It's open 24 hours of the day on my PC. That is incredible. That is absolutely awesome. And it reminded me, StreamYard just launched this new feature where we can post live polls while we're streaming. So here's our first poll that we're going to post here. What's your favorite logging platform? World Radio League, WRL, or totally WRL? Go ahead and vote in the chat now. If you just type 1, 2, or 3 to vote in the chat. So I figure that would be a good first poll for us to use. So, all right. Neil says one person mentioned having multiple tabs, but it would be better if I could have one window with 4 quadrants of information, perhaps that I pick to put in each one. Okay, yeah. So he's probably got a big monitor like me, and he's wanting to have each of the QSO parties available all in front of him at the same time. You can totally do that, 4 browser windows.
That's the nice thing about being a weblogger. You can just open up more windows. And a lot of even spotting and our maps and things, there's a little arrow next to it. I can actually just demo this for you really quick in case some users haven't seen this feature. There's a little arrow that will pop those out for you. So if you go into your logbook where you see the map, the spotting, there's this little arrow thing. If you let's pop this map, we click this, it'll pop it out into a totally new window. So actually you can't see it, but there's another window.
There you go. Now we can see it. That's so cool. Yeah. But Neil does say, overall, thanks for a wonderful product. Absolutely, Neil. I'm glad you love it. Zach votes option 4. There are others. Yeah, I like that one. That's even better. Rodney says he's using WRL for his club's Go-To station, operating a separate call sign. Our club's legacy called W5SJZ, and he just became the trustee for us. That's incredible,
cool.
Rodney.
Congrats, Rodney.
Yeah, absolutely. Terry says that he's going to vote 2 WRL, but he's reserving 3 for when cat control is integrated into the desktop.
So he's like WRL once cat control is on the desktop app, totally WRL.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tom, W9TEF. I wish you could opt to hide the spotting maps stats log panel. Like we can collapse the site navigation on the left without shrinking the window to go mobile responsive. That's actually kind of a cool idea. James, can you pull that window back up and kind of shrink the vertical width or the horizontal width so we can see how that responds?
Tom is very good at these type of things, by the way.
Absolutely.
Tom is there are several features that Tom has suggested that have made it into the production product. So right now,
you shrink that. There you go. Kind of shrink it.
Quick tip though, make sure you can collapse this if you click this button, so you can get rid of the sidebar. That's a good tip. But then, as what you're saying, let's take it a step further. Let's narrow it down, right? So
there you go.
it'll actually go over to one column. Now,
yeah,
we some of you guys may be familiar with logbook templates. I'll keep this short, Andy. Don't worry.
Oh, you're good.
If you go over to the templates here and you click the view templates, you can actually edit and update like different logging templates, and you can decide what do you want to be the fields that are in the logger, what do you want to be in the settings, what do you want to be the secondary options. So you can create different things. What we're thinking about adding in tier 2 in addition would be another setting that says, do you want to have the split screen view, like with the logger on the left and the maps on the right? Or do you want to have the traditional, kind of up and, where the logger just goes all the way across full screen and then you have everything else below it?
Yeah.
So that may very well be a setting here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So thank you for the question there. Great question and great eye for detail there. That's incredible. We are. Yeah. Tom says he loves the feature option. He pops spotting out and uses a separate window. Then he'd like a nice wide, clean log form. I see where you're coming from, Tom. I am taking your notes and putting them in our internal chat channels so that we can discuss them later. But yeah, great thinking there, Tom. I like where you're coming from. In fact, that used to be how we handled it. We changed it to the current form because we didn't need so much horizontal space. But making it optional could be kind of a cool approach. So Zach says he'll be hosting a Charlotte Club Support Your Parks activity this weekend at his local POTA park, and he'll be repping World Radio League as the go-to logging platform. That is incredible, Zach.
Yeah, thank you, Zach.
In fact, Zach, I'm going to exercise a little bit of my product managerial discretion. And Catalina, can we get his address and send him a Q code mug?
What?
Can we get Zach's address and send him a Q code mug?
I think how many maps did you share? I'm just kidding.
Hey, he's creating more map sharers, so he needs.
Zach. Okay, I have a challenge for Zach.
Yes. So Zach, we're gonna ship you a Q Codes mug if you can DM me your address or something. Yeah, he has one of the old ones. He doesn't have the new one. Zach, if you can DM me your address on Discord, I will make sure you get a Q Codes mug because we love what you're doing out there, and we're really incredibly grateful for all the help and insight you've provided over the past many months and all you're doing out there to support us. We really appreciate it. So we're going to get you a Q Codes mug in the mail, and we really appreciate it, Zach. Thank you. So as at this point, we're already, I'm telling you guys, this is the fastest 2 hours in ham radio. We're already up against the break. We're going to go to break. Let's see here. We got a poll winner. Is World Radio League at 40%. Imagine that. We have a bunch of World Radio League users in the chat, so that's great. So we're going to go ahead and go to break. We will be right back after this, and we've got even more. We haven't even shared our biggest World Radio League update yet, so we've got something really cool to show you guys, and we will be right back after this. So don't go anywhere. The World Radio League show will be right back. Don't forget, if you sign up for a World Radio League lifetime membership, you get the king of World Radio League mugs. This thing is awesome. You even get your own founding member number inscribed permanently on the side. Welcome back, everybody, to the second part of the World Radio League show. I am Andy N0APX, your extra operator, host for today. We've still got James and Catalina along with us today. Catalina loves it when I shout about being an extra now, and I'm still excited about that. You know, I've only been an extra for a few weeks. I think I made a few people sick of me saying that, but I'm still an extra, so don't hold it against me.
Technician.
Yeah. If you're sick of me saying extra, it's because you're not one. No, I'm kidding. But it's great. It's great to see everyone here. And we have plenty more to cover. So
it's amazing. You become an extra, and it only takes you 2 weeks to become an elitist, you know? Now everybody's got to be an extra.
Extras for the win. Okay. We have plenty more to talk about. And there's I know, James, I know you're dying to talk about what you learned in your shack over the weekend. But before we get there, we have one more World Radio League super exciting feature to cover. And you've really been in the trenches testing and working on this one while I was working on some other stuff. So I'm going to let you go ahead and share this one if you're good with that. We have released our map theme library. This is so incredible. Catalina's so excited about this. James is so excited about this. I'm so excited about this. This is awesome. So, James, I'm going to let you share your screen here, and why don't you just walk us through how this works and how public these themes are, and if you can privatize them, and all the things.
I would be more than happy to, and I am so excited for this feature. Guys, I think, as far as the apps go, I would say World Radio League really, for mapping and analytics, is one of the best out there. So if you haven't tried it, hop in and try it. I know a lot of you, I'm preaching to the choir here, a lot of you guys are already using the mapping features. But within World Radio League, you've got your map here. As you're logging, it's generating everything. The map that I'm using right now is one that I've just slightly customized, but you've got this nice big customized map button. The share map button will actually generate an entirely new type of map share. Like it'll actually look like this, and it'll put some stats here next to you, so you can check that out. But what the customized map button will do is it gives you more advanced control. So this has already been released. Most of you are familiar with it, but I have to review this so you can kind of get an idea of what the new stuff is available. So you can choose the themes on the themes page. There's a couple other things you can do, like add marker labels. So maybe I'll add like a label that shows the distance on these contacts. Or I can add a label that shows the country flag or different things. But there was a problem with this before, which is sometimes you build a really awesome theme and then you want to change it, but you don't want to lose all those customizations that you've done before, right? So like, let's say that I change the background to the ocean, and I save that. Well, now I've got this new theme, but I've lost my old one. Not anymore, right? Now with the latest changes, this actually does look pretty cool. I'm gonna actually save this one. You know what? I'm gonna go this, and I'm going to go to this, and I'm gonna save it as a theme, and I'll call it ice. I'll just call it ice, and I'm gonna put a little ice cube emoji in here. Let's see if that works. And then the theme description will be standard theme with ice background. Now, when I'm saving this theme, I can share this to my own map library, or I can share it publicly. So I'm going to click share publicly, and then I'll save the theme. And then boom, now I have got a new theme that's out there. And if you guys want to use the exact theme that I'm using right now, I can go into the theme library and I can look at my themes, this new ice theme that I've created. I can share it. It's going to create a link, and I'll actually drop that link in the chat right now. So click that link and you can go try it out. You can see which themes I've created. Now, if you take a look, there's already a couple users that are creating their themes and they're sharing them. So Terry has this Go Vols. Let's check this out. You can see he's got his Tennessee Volunteers orange color here on the map. Pretty cool. We've got, it looks like just me and Terry. Save some of y'all's themes into the map. It's just me and Terry right now, you know? So I've added ice and I've added, you know, or actually look, Jay just said, is this a brand new one? Look at this. We got Contacts of the World map that just came in here. But let's see. Let's click into Terry's. We can get a preview of it. But I can apply this theme. So now it's applied. You can see that, you know, Terry can see that I'm using his theme. And I'll go back to now when I go back to that. Let's go to my logbook here. Now I'm using Terry's theme. So it's like orange lightning bolts for the Tennessee Vols. Pretty cool stuff here.
So Terry, hopefully that answers your question. Terry asks, do we have a Vols theme in the library? Yes, it's yours. Absolutely. So this is such an incredible feature. Catalina, I mean, this is awesome for, you know, the Mugs for Map Shares program. Just looking at it, first impressions, what are you thinking? Are you well, internally we had some discussions around maybe I shouldn't even talk about this because it might inspire some people in a negative way, but we had some discussions about you know, what people could potentially do with, you know, using different emojis as icons on the map. what rat hole that could go down, but overall this seems extremely exciting.
Yes, absolutely. I always mention whenever I check maps every day, I think that I can see the personality of the different ham radio operators. There are a lot of different preferences. We started with the dark and light mode, and now we enhance so many things for the maps share. So I think that everyone can choose according to their preferences. And there are a lot of beautiful combinations that you can do. And it is true that whenever you customize a map, you can take some time. It can take some time because you are looking for new colors, new combinations. So you can save that. And it's also time saving, and others can generate something that you like too. So you can use that. I think that this is also like as a social media platform that you can continue using another ham radio operators maps, and it's incredible. This is one of my favorite features, like the latest features that we had. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is basically, I mean, users can go and grab other themes and then customize on top of those other customizations, right? I mean,
you can take a map from the library and then kind of customize it your own way and save it as a new theme, or just keep it locally for your own themes. Just sitting here like spitballing, I'll tell you one thing I'm like looking at that I think would be super cool. I would love to see like some average distance like circles on here, because then I could kind of get an idea of like how my radio is propagating by band, right? Like it'd be cool to see like, hey, this is your average distance on.
It's such a variable element, but at the same time, you know, as on a live map on the wall day by day basis, you know, it'd be kind of cool to see, well, you know, today, you know, this was kind of my radius. This day, you know, I checked band conditions and the SFI was up to here, and I did this radius, and so, you know, compare those against the solar conditions and kind of see how you perform in what conditions. That's a really cool thought there. I love that.
100%.
Terry might be popping out for a couple seconds. He says his mug just arrived. So Terry, hope you have fun with that. Send me a picture on Discord if you get it, and I can share that. So yeah, James, any other thoughts about this? Any other new things live right now on World Radio League, or coming in the next few days?
Rodney just sparked my my memory here. Rodney, the ability to pin favorite logbooks is already on dev. So if you this is coming very soon. But now, this is obviously my test account, so I don't have so many logbooks. But when you get to where you might have dozens or even hundreds of logbooks, being able to star some as your favorites and getting some new sort options, you can sort by number of QSOs, date, last contact, and then add some favorites. Yeah. This one, probably out by the end of the week, really.
Cool, awesome. That's fantastic. It's fantastic. So Zach has been pinging me in the chat here, and I want to share this because this is awesome. So Zach is a recent, as you all know, he's a recent bug owner and a CW hunter extraordinaire. Zach just did his first CW POTA activation. This is absolutely incredible. I'm so excited. James will take a look at that here in just a second, but this is really cool. Zach got his call sign on April 11th, 2025 after watching a Thomas K4SWL video. Thomas is awesome. Thomas is becoming a good friend. He's an awesome guy. He was doing a CW POTA activation, and Zach decided to take a dive in the rabbit hole. So on 4/10, almost exactly a year later, 4/10/2026, he went to US 6856 and did his first CW activation with Thomas K4SWO. That is incredible. That is so awesome. His daughter Maggie was there. He used a 705, a KH1. I cannot talk enough about the KH1. It's an awesome radio. Zach, I'm glad you got to use one. And the KX2. He says Thomas is basically the Bob Ross of ham radio. He's like the Bob Ross, but plus like this huge extra very nice layer on top of Bob Ross. But Thomas is incredible. Thomas is a great guy. So here are some photos of that activation. So cool. So you're using the World Radio League app on your tablet and the KM4 CFT paddle.
So cool.
So awesome. He's going to be in an upcoming K4SWL video.
Beautiful view there,
man, too. That is incredible. That's one of Thomas's standard parks. That looks like, I'm seeing that right. That's Maggie and Thomas doing an activation.
Wow, that's
so cool.
Where is this?
That is brilliant. Look at that. KH1.
Good looking grass.
That is US 6856. So pull out my handy dandy World Radio League app here, and I can tell you exactly where that's at. Let's see here. If I can locate it quickly here. 6856 is the Zebulon Vance birthplace, North Carolina. Yes, that is one of Thomas's regulars. He does a lot. So Zach, that is absolutely incredible. I actually just went on and this is spoiler alert. I probably shouldn't even be sharing this early, but I just went on the Ham Radio Workbench podcast. That one's going to post here in probably about a week and a half. And, and talked World Radio League with Thomas and, and the guys over there on the Ham Radio Workbench podcast. And they are just awesome guys. Go listen to their podcast if you get a chance, because they're incredible. And they're one of my big inspirations in ham radio. So, Zach, that is really, really cool. I'm looking forward to meeting some of the guys at Hamvention, and I'm really excited for you, buddy. That is great that you got out there and did your first CW POTA activation. They are so much fun, and I'm really excited for you. So, wanted to share that for Zach. Thank you, Zach, for sharing that. Yeah, he says that Thomas mentioned talking to me. He said he really loves what we're doing. That's incredible to hear. Very glad to hear that. But yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Zach. That's really, really awesome. Really, really incredible. James, man, you've been dying to share this. So I'm going to let you talk about this, because this is actually, you shared this in one of the meetings this morning, and I thought this was a really cool example of some of the challenges we run into in ham radio, and also using some of the knowledge that you've come by in producing the 2026 technician course to solve that. So, sounded like you ran into some interference issues over the weekend. What happened there?
I mean, you teed it up well, Andy. So I went into the Georgia QSO party, so I'm all excited. Georgia QSO party. Hey, let's hop on the air. Let's start making some contacts. And then I ran into the problem that every ham runs into. I'm just getting this noise all over the band, and I'm like, I can tell that it's QRM, right? Like this is man-made interference. This is not like the way that it's like sort of spiking at certain times, and so
Yeah.
So I started thinking, I'm like, do I have some sort of new device in my shack? So I turn off all my computers. I'm like turning off LEDs. I'm looking around. I'm trying to find any source of what's causing this interference. Cause I mean, it's bad enough that it's pretty much preventing me from making contacts in the QSO party. So then I'm like, okay, so just doing the basic stuff doesn't do anything. And I start at this point, I'm starting to think, I'm like, I hope my neighbor didn't get some sort of new device or something that's, blowing my radio, causing all this interference. So anyway, then I start trying to locate the frequency. So I go from, I was trying to operate on 20. I go to 40. There's a little bit less interference on 40. Actually, I made a contact on 40 and then I went back to 20. Then I went to 10 meters. And then I'm like, okay, as I start to get to the lower bands, going the other way, I guess I go to like 80. I'm like, oh, wait, now the interference is getting worse. And I'm like hearing it more. So I go all the way down to 160 and I'm like sitting there around, I'm just double check myself here. Yeah, I go down to 160 and I'm like, this interference is strong. And at that point I can start to hear it's actually modulating kind of like a voice. And I'll let you guys guess in the chat really quick if somebody can guess what the end result of what this interference was. You're probably getting a feeling of like I'm honing in the big clue. I'm getting really close to hitting the interference on 160 meters. So I'm at
like throw out frequency there. What's
1.9 megahertz, right?
1.9. That's 1900 kilohertz. So yeah, we're talking low. Yeah.
Boom. AM radio. Now it's weird that I guess I haven't had too much problems with this at home before. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the AM station is just like getting up and running, but I think I know where the AM station is because I've driven by, I've seen it before. So this is what's even really like crazy about this is that we're currently in the process of updating the technician course for 2026. So for those of you guys who have some new ham radio operators, the question pool for the technician is updating for 2026. And there's a question on the exam of what do you do if your 2 meter station is getting interference from FM broadcast. Now, FM is actually way more close to the 2 meter band, whereas AM is closer to the HF bands.
So just to lay this out, if you're dialing around on your sorry, James, I'll get right back to you. But if you're dialing around on your AM radio, you're running roughly from about, I believe it's like the 500s up to 1500s kilohertz. And so, that's that 1.8 or 1.9 megahertz is 1900 kilohertz, which is what, right above that AM broadcast band. If you're talking FM, you're talking 89.1, 90.7. Those frequencies are up really close to that 100, 144 point whatever megahertz up there in the 2 meter area. So FM broadcast falls just above the 50 megahertz 6 meter band and just below the 144 megahertz 2 meter band. It's right in the middle.
Yep. And so anyway, and that's that's really good to know. So I'm probably not the only person who's dealt with this. Obviously, I think a lot of other people have probably had this. But what's really cool, and I ended up buying something, guys. I ended up saying, you know what?
Of course.
Basically, what happens is
if you're having a ham radio, if you're having any problem on ham radio, the solution is always buy something. Sorry, go ahead, James.
Yeah. So, basically your receiver should be not receiving these frequencies anyway, right? Because they're the wrong frequencies. But what happens is that if the signal is strong enough, it kind of overloads your receivers circuitry that's meant to, it's basically your band pass or your band reject filters. They kind of get overwhelmed. So sometimes you need to add an extra kind of layer of protection. So I ended up spending basically close to $200, but I'm happy with my purchase here. I got this. I went to DX Engineering and I got this one. There's another, there's a couple of different, but this one is from 1.8 megahertz to 54 megahertz. So actually, even while this is connected, I can still do 160, which is pretty cool.
Very nice.
So hopefully this kind of, this pretty much cleans it out. And yeah, I mean, 54 megahertz, if I go back to my band plan, what is that? That'll allow me to, it'll be pretty, I won't use this on my VHF, UHF when I'm operating that, but anytime I'm operating, I'll put this inline in my HF coax. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Very, very nice. That's really incredible. And, just great example of ham radio problem solving at work. It's really cool. So Terry got his mug. So let's go ahead and take a look at Terry's mug and see what you can win here. Here we go.
That's lively coincidence.
Brilliant. And of course, Vols orange everywhere. Who'd have thunk? Oh man. But yeah, James, that's really some awesome info, and really glad to hear that worked out for you and that you had so much fun sorting that out. It's so cool because we're positioned where we're not in a position where we're just like these, like as individuals, we're not in a position where we're like just all these people with perfect ham radio knowledge who can just tell you everything. We're actually learning and absorbing a whole bunch of stuff as we go, and then just disseminating that out to y'all through the channels that we've created. And we are speaking for myself, I am so thrilled to be a part of a company like this where I can absorb and learn all kinds of things and then share them. That's just like in my nature. If I learn something exciting, I just want to share it with everybody. And it's so awesome to be a part of a company where we can do that.
Yeah. And I mean, before I went full time doing this, I was working in the corporate world. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I really love is how we have such an engaged community. You guys are always making feature requests, and we get something done every day. Something new comes out every single day, every single week. We're launching some sort of new feature. We're trying something new. We're experimenting, which sounds like, Andy, you might even be about to tell it. Speaking of new things, you might be about to give us a little bit of a preview of something.
You're looking at the sneak peek in the corner.
I'm looking at the sneak peek. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we've got, I'm going to share this before the break. And then after the break, we're going to get to a bunch of y'all's comments and what have you. And then we've got some really cool news stories, including some, and even an Artemis 2 clip later on. But I'm going to go ahead and share this because there was somebody asked about this earlier, and James, HamKJ5 just threw a question in the chat there. You might want to, if you want to,
HamKJ5. If you drop your call sign, we do internships, and probably best email to reach us at as partnerships@hamradioprep.com if you want to come do an internship and kind of see some of the insider stuff of the crew here. Shoot us an email at partnerships@hamradioprep.com. I can't promise anything. We are a small little bootstrap team here, but we are always looking to partner with good people. Like I think Tom W9TEF here has been a huge help on product already. I think he's going to be at Dayton with us, hopefully. So
cool.
We're always looking for good people to have input and, possibly even take on a bigger role. So thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. So this is, I saw some people talking about this in the chat earlier. This is what we're working on next. This is like going to be one of the next things out the door.
My gosh.
Oh, wow.
What?
So this is all test data. This is all, back end. This is no live data here, but you can see this dashboard. live. And if I click on a DX target, you can see what's going on here. And look at all these widgets. Here's our radar scope. So you can see what direction these spots are appearing. Click on a spot and it will give you the line on the map and information regarding that spot up here. We've got all kinds of cool widgets and what have yous and whatchamacallits and doodads listed here. And it's just really, really, really cool. You know, you can click on spots on the map, on spots on the radar scope, everything, you know, just interacts with these widgets in the map. So we'll have a live contest deal here, a news ticker at the bottom, DXpeditions, that one's coming. But look at these band conditions widgets. We've got the new propagation widget here with SFI, K index, A index as like meters. And then, you know, just some overall really cool stuff. And I'm really excited. Me and the developer working on this are having a ton of fun. And we're hoping to have something this week that we can launch publicly. So we'll see if we can do that. That's not a promise. I'm not putting my foot on that one. But I would say max 2 weeks we'll have at least an early version out. So this is really, really cool. So let's go ahead and go to break because we're there. And then when we get back, James flashed something at the camera a little bit ago that I want to talk about because it's really, really cool. So we're going to go to a quick break and we're going to be right back after this. Don't go anywhere. We literally have tons more to talk about, guys. We have so much more to cover today. So do not go anywhere. We will be right back. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Big news, all kinds of stuff. Some really cool clips of Artemis 2, or a cool clip of Artemis 2, and tons of other stuff. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Imagine setting up your ham radio in a state or national park like this one. Surrounded by nature.
And making contacts with people all over the world.
That's what Parks on the Air is all about. It's one of the most fun and rewarding ways to participate in ham radio.
POTA is for everyone.
Activators head out to parks to experience nature, while hunters try and contact them from home. With over 500,000 participants worldwide, there's an activation happening every day. And in fact, there's probably an activation going on in a park like this right now.
But if you're new, getting started can be overwhelming. From picking the right gear and antennas to setting up in the field, logging contacts, and following the rules.
That's why we created the Ham Radio Prep POTA course, your guide to getting started with Parks on the Air. We'll walk you through everything step by step, from choosing equipment to setting up, on-air operation, and logging.
This course will get you on the air fast and help you to avoid common beginner mistakes.
And even if you already have POTA experience, you'll find plenty of pro tips to optimize your station setup and operations.
We recommend having at least a general license for this course, but even if you're still a technician, this course will help you prepare for the next level and get ready to join in the fun.
POTA is an amazing way to build your skills, get in the outdoors, and connect with other hams around the world. So are you ready to start your next adventure?
Sign up for the POTA course today at hamradioprep.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I told you we'd be back. What were you so concerned about? We are still here and going strong, guys. We are in the third half of the show, episode 44 of the World Radio League show. So glad to see each and every one of you here. And we have tons more to cover. So as promised, I'm going to throw a super duper quick propagation forecast at you. Just a really quick highlights. and then we're going to move on with the rest of the show. So I'll go ahead and bring James and Catalina in. Hi guys, thank you for sticking around.
Hello.
I think one of you owes the other one a Coke. I'm not sure which one, but anyway. All right, so Monday is looking good with a little bit of upward pressure on the A index, which isn't great, but you're going to see the higher bands are going to be iffy. Of course, 20 meters, we're going to see 20 meters be our anchor throughout. So Tuesday, we're going to see Flux is going to be leveling out. A and K are going to be down to pretty good levels, 5 and 2. Flux is actually going to be rising. It's got kind of a little bit of like a mini cycle going on here. Flux is going to be coming up, peaking at 100, 102 around Wednesday. A at 5 and KP at 2. So Wednesday might be a pretty solid day for operating, really. You're gonna see even some good action on 15 meters probably on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. Thursday, and I want to apologize here. I had some issues with my forecasting system, and a couple of the forecasts I gave in previous weeks had some erroneous data, but we got that cleared up, so we're moving forward now. Thursday, you're going to see some things, some solar wind beginning to rise a little bit. 15 is going to fade back out. Your flux is going to be kind of leveling out around 100. A and K are going to see some up pressure. 6 to 8 on the A index, 2 to 3 on the K index. You're going to see some coronal hole influence on Friday with flux dipping to 97, A rising to 10 to 14, and K 3 to 4. Saturday, flux is going to be hanging around 95 with A coming up to 12 to 16 and KP at around 4. This is going to be ouch. But it's brief. It's just going to be a little challenging. Get out there, get your CW key out, dust it off, and go make some 5-watt contacts around the world. But CW is perfect for these kind of situations. So don't let the poor conditions get you down. Sunday, April 19th, we're gonna see some recovery. Flux is gonna be around 95. A and K are gonna be coming back down with return to those good solid 5 and 2 numbers on Monday, April 20th, with flux falling to around 92. So yeah, your worst days probably going to be Saturday, and your best day is going to be Wednesday. So take advantage of that solid propagation today through Wednesday and probably early Thursday, and then dust your CW key off for the end of the week and into next. So let's go ahead, James, and talk about what we've got going on internally as a team and what you were waving in front of the camera. I'm waiting for the mail truck to arrive. Terry's not the only one waiting for a mail truck. I'm waiting for a mail truck to arrive. What do you think, James? What do you think of it?
This is so cool. I haven't plugged it up and played with it yet, but this is my second paddle that I've owned. And for those of you guys who watch the show, I'm a very novice at Morse code. I'm in the process of learning letters right now. Andy is by my standards, Andy might as well be a pro. Andy knows a lot more Morse code than I do. Now, there's probably some people in the chat who are doing 30 words per minute or something like that, or more. I don't know, but this, Andy, you want to tell the folks what this is? And
absolutely. So James reached out to me a week or two ago and said, "Hey, Andy, I would love to do an internal CW challenge as a team. Find us a key that everybody can use, and that is, just a really solid key that we can ship to everybody on the team." And I said, "You know what? I've got a friend, and this friend's name is Zeus K8CES is his call sign." And I met him through Force KI7QCF has the CW, the CWO, the Continuous Wave Order Discord channel. He opens that up to his YouTube channel members. And I met Zeus in Force Discord, and and another friend loaned me one of his keys to try out. And man, for a 3D printed key, it is awesome. So I reached out to Zeus and said, hey man, how much is your key? And this has been a few weeks ago, and he's like, he gave me a price. I was like, all right, I'll think about it. And then James sent this request over to me, and so I reached back out to Zeus and I said, hey man, I've got an order for you. How about 13 of them? so my good friend Zeus came through, and we now have 13. Well, James has 12 of them, and the other one should be arriving at my house soon. This is the assembly phase of the key.
Cool.
They're really, really incredible keys. He sells them, and he also publishes the 3D print files for them. So let me grab the photo of the assembled batch, because
I have
this is so cool.
I have so many of them. They're still in the packs. I've got 13 of them. So Catalina, you're getting one. This one's going.
Yes.
It's got Catalina's name on it.
So I told him, hey man, I will personally pay extra for you to put my call sign on there. And he said, nah, man, since this is such a big order, I'll throw your call sign on for free. So thank you, Zeus, for doing that for me. There's the stack of the assembled keys. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just beautiful?
I know. It makes me want all of them, weirdly. Like, even though there's no reason to have them all, like when you see them all like that, don't you just like want all of them?
I want the one with Andy's call sign. Is that possible?
Oh, we get you one with your call sign, Catalina. We can get like a little, or we could just, I mean, you could probably add a little sticker or something,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Zeus. Beautiful keys, man. And I mean, it's a solid chunk. James, were you surprised when you picked that up and thought, this is 3D printed, but it's so nice and weighty for a 3D printed paddle?
Yeah, and it also has these it has the magnets on the bottom,
yes,
which is really cool. I mean, look, it's really solid. I mean, I haven't opened it up and look at the internals, and I don't plan to anytime soon. I might look at his. Yeah, I think he's got it posted on Thingiverse if you want to take a look at his designs. But I'm really happy with it. I can't wait to play around with it and see what it is. And he also threw in a little what do you call these things? Allen wrench or something?
Yeah, an Allen key, Allen wrench, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Allen wrench, very tiny one that is needed to adjust it if you need to adjust the paddle position.
Yeah,
that was really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ham KJ5 says he doesn't even do CW yet, and he wants one. But yeah, no, it is a brilliant key, and he's just kind of rising in popularity right now. In fact, he even had some talk about building a special paddle just for the KH1, which I would love to see. But thank you, man, for helping us out there. I don't know if you'll watch this, but I really appreciate you helping us out there and sending helping us out, and glad to send some business your way. So appreciate that very much. But yeah, we're super excited. We're getting ready to have an internal challenge that's going to help us test Morse Mastery. I've been literally working on adding the V-band adapter to Morse Mastery app, and along with some challenges I've run into, but I'm trying to get the CW Morse adapter. And then I was going to throw the HalaKey serial adapter in there as well. And then I talked to Smitty, Mark, over at Halibut Electronics when we recorded the Ham Radio Workbench podcast last week. And he said, no, you want the MIDI, the HalaKey MIDI on there. So I may be swapping that out for a HalaKey MIDI and getting that added on the website as well. So go try morsemastery.com and give me some feedback. It is by no way production ready. This is literally just you helping me out. So thank you for the free labor. We have plenty more to talk about here.
I'll just say one more thing about this too, is we've got a group of internally here at World Radio League Ham Radio Prep. We're all kind of learning Morse code together. And Andy's been working on this, Morse Mastery, which is going to be an app. So if you keep coming back to these live streams, if you're learning Morse code, we'll share updates with you. I mean, we can't make any promises about this. This is kind of like a little side quest, little adventure we're doing as a team. But if anybody wants to kind of learn Morse code alongside of us and you want to just join in on it, I mean, why not? You know, we'll at least
100%.
tell you what we're doing, and we'll tell you what
we are launching some really cool stuff. I didn't even show you this yet, James, but we are doing some really cool stuff over at Morse Mastery where we're going to be adding, and in fact, I've pushed some like early versions live for testing, some public challenges where you can go on and like enter a challenge room and compete with other operators live. And so that is going to be so cool, you know, once that's rolling and production ready.
That's
and it's
cool.
just, yeah, it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be able to, you know, it would be so cool if, you know, we could, you know, get the whole World Radio League team together and then, you know, maybe have a few of the viewers here say, hey, I want to join in, and, you know, we can bring in maybe to one of those live challenge rooms eventually once that's rolling. But yeah, we're really excited. If you couldn't tell, we're really excited about what this means for the future of our team and the future of how we approach helping people with CW, because, you know, this can open all kinds of doors. We've got a lot of requests for a CW course, and you know, this could open all kinds of doors once we're all kind of familiar with the process of learning and what it takes and what we need. Once the, you know, the team becomes familiar with that, it's going to open a lot of doors with what we could, you know, potentially see in the future. So, you know, and any bit of feedback or help you could throw our way is much appreciated, you know, as long as it's constructive. So, we're really excited. So, yeah, Catalina, are you ready to get a key in your hands and start hammering out some Morse code?
Yes, I'm very excited about this project. I think that it will be very fun to do it all together. I think that's the most enjoying part, and also learning something new. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm waiting for mine.
Yeah, I will say one of our video editors has maybe a little bit of a leg up on the rest of the team, because she edited one of my Morse code videos, and I realized partway through that process that she's picking up quick on Morse code. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. And Terry's exactly right on here. Learn CW by sound, not by memorizing a chart. Trying to memorize a chart will impede your chances of learning Morse code, actually. So but yeah, Terry's right on.
Andy
Peter
has
says,
told that to me many times, so I'm taking that to heart.
I'm trying to convince you. Peter says, if the World Radio League is hiring, he will relocate to Argentina. So you may have a new neighbor soon, Catalina. But yeah, no. Yeah, learn CW by the sound. It is absolutely the way to go. And I keep telling everybody this every chance I get. Learn your call sign. Learn go watch some YouTube videos on Morse code, and you'll start to pick up what a 73 sounds like and what a 5NN sounds like. Once you know those things, you can start hunting POTA stations. I mean, literally, you can just go start hunting POTA stations and hunt. Cool. Just get on the air and start hunting POTA stations, and you will be surprised at how quick you start to pick stuff up. So, absolutely. Well, that's enough of me ranting about CW. Of course, there's not. Maybe there's not that. I'm not sure we can reach that point of enough ranting about CW, because it's just an awesome mode. But we do have other stuff to cover. So let's go ahead and talk. James, I saw you put a couple of news stories in here, one of which was World Amateur Radio Day coming up very soon. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, guys, as amateur radio operators, we have our own day. It is April 18th. And I mean, generally, World Amateur Radio Day is basically just a time to celebrate amateur radio, to celebrate the impact that amateur radio has had in the world. I mean, amateur radio is obviously just a fun hobby, but it's really important for growing an international community. I mean, when people talk to each other over amateur radio, you make connections with people from different worlds. That in its own way makes the world a better place. Science and technology. There's been many innovations in the world of technology that have come from amateur radio operators. I mean, the guy who invented radio, Marconi, he was the first amateur radio operator. This was a guy who was just experimenting with radio himself and found a way to transmit electromagnetic signals over amateur radio. Education, and emergency communications. And a lot of people, I mean, even with all of the new modern technology that's coming around emergency communications and satellite communications, amateur radio still is ultimately when all else fails, when there's no other way to make contact, still continues to be a part of emergency communications. And not only that, just setting up like local communications for things like marathons, bike races, where you need something that's more local and you need a set of trained operators to do those things. Amateur radio steps in. So Amateur Radio Day is a day to recognize all of that, to celebrate all of that. And I think there'll probably be some sort of contest or events around that. To be honest, I have to look this up myself to take a look. But I think there'll probably be a lot of operators on the air on April 18th. That's only 5 days away, so it'll be
really cool.
Be on Saturday.
Absolutely. So yeah, get out and represent your own station on World Amateur Radio Day. That's going to be really cool, and just provide some visibility for us. And it's really crazy because if you're not in the amateur radio space, you hardly ever hear about amateur radio, maybe just a little bit here and there. And you enter the amateur radio space and it's like massive publicity everywhere. So there's a gap there that if we could figure out how to bridge that gap, I think the hobby could explode even faster than it is right now. So, I think generally hams are doing a really good job of sharing what they're doing, but there's just this little gap that I noticed, just coming into the hobby a couple of years ago. There's like just tiny mentions of ham radio here and there, and you enter the hobby, and it's like this everywhere. The internet's an echo chamber. You hear all the algorithms and everything, you hear what you put into them. So they just kind of reinforce what you're interested in. But, if there's a way to start reaching a broader audience with ham radio, maybe World Amateur Radio Day could kind of be a springboard for some of that. But there's just that little gap there that, if somebody searches the term amateur radio once, they're going to find out all kinds of cool stuff. But
I'll tell you a little funny story related to that. This is kind of non-ham radio related, but it's kind of funny. We're having fun here. So speaking of the algorithms, so Catalina logs into the World Radio League and Ham Radio Prep accounts. Obviously, she does all of our social media. So thank you, Catalina, for doing that. But the funny thing is sometimes when I log on to social media, I get advertisements in Spanish. And they're people from Argentina. I'm like, why am I getting this stuff? Because it knows that Catalina's logging in. So it's the social media will like send me stuff in Argentinian Spanish. I can always recognize it because they have I always have the same accent, So I'm like,
I was thinking the same one day whenever I was scrolling down on Facebook or Radio League Facebook, and I got some Argentinian advertisements, and I was like, why? This account is not from Argentina. And I was like, oh my God, I am getting but I didn't know it was showing up to you.
That's hilarious. That is so funny. That is really, really, really funny.
But I get a lot of ham radio stuff. I get a lot of ham radio. I know. It's like,
Paul says that James is getting skirt and blouse ads in Spanish. Yes, poor James.
My wife might get concerned. She might come on my social media and she's like, oh no, what is happening? Why is James buying lipstick and blouses?
Oh, my Lord. So, Franco is asking, are you from Argentina? Catalina is from Argentina. So, yeah,
I am from Argentina.
Absolutely. So, Prep Ham Paul says that he gets Andy's voice to teach him CW. Yes, I actually recorded the myself code talking every Morse code character. If you don't know what code talking is, for example, it is saying the sound, the Morse code sound of a character. For example, R, one of my favorite characters for whatever weird reason, is Didot. And say X, the last letter of my call sign is da. So you code talk those out to help you retain those in your memory. It helps a ton, by the way. Just going down the road, literally code talking road signs is a really fun way to boost your Morse code, your CW learning. But yeah, I recorded clips of me code talking every character and entered them in Morse Mastery. So yes, Paul, you get to hear me teach you CW. And he also said he's going to have to work on the Morse Mastery app whenever he's not distracted by the World Radio League live stream. So yes, Paul, if you get a chance, I would love to hear your feedback, man, on that, Paul. Thank you so much. And yeah, absolutely. I'm having all kinds of fun working with it. It's one of those things where we're like the team is laser focused on World Radio League and ham radio prep. And James is like, hey, Andy, if you want to work on Morse Mastery, and I'm like, absolutely. So I'm like over here hammering out all kinds of cool stuff. So having tons of fun with it.
Hats off to you, Andy. You have just been absolutely taking the lead on that and taking ownership of that. And, that's kind of how things work over here. A lot of we have a lot of great people. They take ownership of their area. They just run with it, In fact, we've actually had some really big performance updates going out on the app. I won't spend too much time on that because it's kind of the back end stuff, but
yeah,
we showed some of the visible features, but World Radio League has gotten some major back end upgrades this week to performance and security, which is very important.
Absolutely. Franco said he heard me talking in Spanish, and I do very well. Franco, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't even speak Spanish. But James, I think you're talking about James. James does very well. James is very well versed in Spanish, so I'm sure you heard him.
Maybe next team project will be teaching Spanish to the team.
No.
Yeah, yes. We got to do Morse code first, then Spanish.
No.
But I don't know if we want to do
Argentinian. Says he's got the hex beam pointed south and he's waiting for an FT8 contact from Catalina. Catalina, how long will he be waiting?
He's going to be waiting. He's going to be waiting a long time.
And Paul says he's on week 4 of his CW journey and he'll definitely make use of the site. That's awesome, Paul.
Cool.
That is fantastic. I want to be, if you haven't made your first contact yet, I would love to be your first contact, but I know that's probably unlikely. Hello, Caleb. Good to see you. James, you also threw a note. Circling back here to our actual show outline, you put a note here about the Red Cross running an NVIS net. NVIS, for those of you who don't know, is Near Vertical Incident Skywave, which basically means you point your antenna almost straight up so that you can work a guy right next to you on HF. So, James, why don't you talk us through this? This is a new topic for me. I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah, and so shout out to Amateur Radio Newsline for breaking this story. That's where I found this. I thought this was a really cool story, but it's the Red Cross of Southeast Pennsylvania, and they've been doing a monthly IMCOMnet, and they have been getting check-ins from all over the place. I think right now they are running this 10 a.m. Eastern on 40 meters. It's coming up in 3 days, April 16th. So if you want to either just listen to the net or you want to check in, April 16th, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 40 meters, 7.235 megahertz. I'll drop some more information on this, but I love to see people standing up new nets, and I love the overlap with Red Cross and the work they're doing to continue to, it's just like flexing a muscle and using these emergency communication skills, like in this case with the net. But when you use these skills regularly, you build the skills. And I want to just give out a shout out to, let me see if I can see who's actually organizing this. It looks like Cliff Hotchkiss, KC3PGT, is the regional lead for the American Red Cross Disaster Services training in Southeast Pennsylvania. Cool. He's either sort of running the net or maybe one of the folks who've been starting at least heavily involved. So here's what Cliff said. He said, we started it for a dual purpose. First, we need to exercise and practice setting up our NVIS antenna and operating from our communications trailer. Second, we wanted to establish a frequency range and protocol to communicate with our neighboring Red Cross regions in case of widespread communication outage. This may just be focused on the Red Cross folks themselves. I don't know if this is just an open net anyone can check into. Yeah. But either way, it's a very good.
A lot of these kind of IMCOM style nets, unless it's like Skywarn, Skywarn's usually pretty open, but a lot of these like Races nets or those type of nets are pretty closed down to like very specific procedures. So, you may see, it may be one that you want to listen in on, at least for the first couple times, to see how open it is.
Exactly.
But yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely no harm in listening, and it may even get you involved in your local Red Cross amateur radio service. So, yeah, absolutely.
Sorry. It was my cell phone.
Okay.
I was watching a video before the live stream.
We
and
noticed.
that it stands here, and it was a football video. So Argentinian. I'm so sorry.
That's awesome. And just to clarify, when you say football, you really mean soccer, right?
It's football.
All right. So the Yuri
Franco can
Gagarin
help me here. So we are two Argentinians today.
So there's a lot of space news going on right now, and we're going to talk Artemis 2 here in just a few minutes. In fact, you know what? Let's talk Yuri Gagarin after the break, because we are already up to break time. I'm going to hit a couple comments here, and then James, are you still going to be around to talk Yuri Gagarin right after the break?
I will be gone after the break, but I dropped the notes if you want to check it out, and we do have it on World Radio League, so you can check out.
Well, I tell you what, why don't you just go ahead and talk us through the Yuri Gagarin contest, and then we'll go to break after.
Yeah. So, and you may know a little bit about this as well, but the contest was just last weekend. It was in tribute to Yuri Gagarin. So Yuri Gagarin, let's see, 65 years ago, I believe, let me just make sure, I'm going to fact check myself. I believe he was the first man in space. Let me pull up a little photo for you guys so you can see. So this was actually a contest or ham radio event to honor Yuri. You can see some pictures here.
First man in space. Yep, absolutely.
Yep. And so now we have that he actually is an amateur radio operator. I believe he was involved in the contest over last weekend. I unfortunately missed this one. But again, if you use World Radio League, it makes it easier to not miss these.
So Yuri Gagarin, actually, I think he passed away in the 60s, maybe. So short, I think it was not that long after his mission. But yeah, he did have some. There were some people
some
heavily
cosmonauts.
involved.
Yeah, it looks like maybe some of his
the cosmonauts were heavily
fellow
involved.
Cosmonauts that were hopping in. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Alex.
Absolutely.
I'm seeing Alexander Grebenkin, R3HP, Alexander Volkov, U4MIR.
Yeah, and this event was actually started in 1969. Very, not that long after the first human space flight in 1961, April 12th, 1961. So it's been held around April 12th ever since then.
Well, and one of the really cool things is this is like, you see a very different type of participant pool. If you go into the contest on World Radio League, you're seeing, we're seeing some more folks from Russia. We're seeing some more folks from Europe in this one. So really cool contest. And I love to keep my eye on these things. And, personally, what I'm trying to do is just hop in as many contests as I can, even if I'm just making a couple contacts, you never know who you might catch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. Thank you for walking us through that. That is really, really awesome. I was just going back through a couple comments here. HamKJ5 says, how about a special badge when we make a contact with a WRL employee? This has been asked so often. I'm about ready to say, let's just do it. This is really a cool idea. I like this. So, James, what do you think? Do you think maybe we could have something thrown together like this in a couple weeks?
The gold one can be having a contact with me.
All right, there's the thumbs up. We've got the green light. We'll make it happen one way or another, KJ5. We will do something around that. That is really an awesome idea. Caleb's watching us while soldering his cat control wires back to the USB port. Using his he's doing FD8 and FD4 on Zygu X5105. So Caleb, thank you for popping in. That is really cool. The reason I shared that is because
shout out to
talking about
Power
hardware on here, and I love hardware stuff. So and he also says that it would be cool if we get a badge when we hit 100-day logging streak. Agreed. That would be
coming
really cool.
very soon. Those ones we're
Yeah.
working the streaks. I'm working on my 1-year weekly streak right now. That's what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
But
yeah,
we
I
will
really
get
need
it
to
for
log
both
your
weekly
contacts
and daily
for that.
streaks coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I need to get on the ball if I'm going to get any of the 250 awards. So, but yeah, absolutely. Guys, we're going to go hit a quick break. I think we're losing both James and Catalina, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Rats. It's such a letdown to
Don't
see you guys.
cry.
Anyway, okay, I'll try not to. Guys, have a great rest of your day. And viewers, do not go anywhere because we still have an Artemis 2 clip. I wish that was enough to keep James and Catalina here because it's a really cool clip. But alas and alack, it is not. So, guys, if you want to pop back in before we end the show, feel free to do that. But I figure
I'll
you guys
transition
have...
from host to viewer for the last.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. You guys can pop in the comments and let me know you're there. Thank you so much for coming along and helping me out again this week with episode number 44. And we'll look forward to seeing you back on episode 45. Guys in the chat, do not go anywhere. Give Catalina and James a quick 73 and stick around because we've got some more cool stuff right after the break. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're coming right back.
73.
73.
Are you ready to ditch that 90s ham radio logging software and upgrade to something from this century? Well, now you can. Welcome to a brand new era of software in ham radio, World Radio League. Whether you're a brand new ham radio operator just getting started or a seasoned veteran looking to upgrade your logging experience, World Radio League is the ham radio tool suite for you. Its sleek, modern design brings ham radio into today's world. No more digging through endless menus to find basic features. It's all right in front of you, ready to go with just a couple clicks. An extremely customizable logging interface is just the beginning. We integrate with 7 spotting networks to make finding your contacts that much easier. Plus, we offer many custom mapping and analytics tools so that you can view your contacts your way. We have all sorts of tools tailored to contesting, POTA, SOTA, WWFF, and other activities as well. And it gets better. With our cloud-based log storage, you can access your logs using our fully featured web interface in tandem with our robust mobile app. You can log into your account on any device and even log contacts offline, syncing them to your online account later. The best part? Logging with World Radio League is free. Just set up an account and start logging. Want to use advanced features like large log imports and analytics? Upgrade to a premium plan starting at only $3 a month. Join a huge community of ham radio operators at the fastest growing ham radio software platform available by creating your free account at worldradioleague.com today or search for World Radio League in your favorite app store.
Guys, we are back with the fourth and final segment of episode 44 of the World Radio League show. Thank you all so much for sticking with me, and got some cool stuff to talk about. Sad to see James and Catalina had to pop out in this last segment here, but most likely they'll be back next week, and we look forward to seeing them as usual. So, Artemis 2 came back this week. Artemis 2 returned home safely, bringing 4 fantastic people with it, and we're going to talk about that in just a couple minutes. But first, we got a ton of comments that I wanted to walk through. We got a bunch of them came in throughout the show that I wanted to talk about. The first one, Caleb said, I threw out whenever I found out James and Catalina had to drop. I said rats, and that was my way of expressing my disappointment. But Caleb pointed out I clearly should have said hamsters. So yes, Caleb, I must remember this. Thank you. my friend and fellow hamster yourself, for reminding me of such a thing. So I want to cover a couple questions here, and then we're gonna watch the Artemis 2 clip. Tom W9TEF said, "Here's a question: Can World Radio League pretend to be other loggers by using the UDP port listeners for N1MM or N3FJP? Some app wants to log to those services. Can I use World Radio League's listener instead?" So honestly, the better way to think about this probably is the way that I would tend to think about this is, how can I use those as World Radio League loggers? So we can do that through our Cat Control app. You can use N1MM or N3FJP to stream contacts up into your World Radio League account. If you're trying to send them back into N1MM or N3FJP, that currently is not doable in a live capacity, but it should be as easy as exporting a native file, importing them into the software. But if maybe you could share a little bit more about your use case, Tom, like send me an email, andy@worldradioleague.com. If you have, if any of y'all have any questions or suggestions, feel free to shoot me an email, andy@worldradioleague.com. And Tom, yes, if you want to kind of share some more details about your use case, and feel free to throw a screen recording in there, pictures, whatever. Just let me know, and maybe we can talk about that. So James is asking, is there any way you could add space for completion times of contacts? So if you're using, and let me share my screen on this one, because this one is, as you said, so important. If I share my screen here, I can show you. If you're using the all fields template, it pops up here where you can add the time and date of the contact. And if you're using a custom template, you can go in here and pick any of the templates we have. You can add a custom template, pick whatever fields you want to use, and you can add those fields into your logging view. So that is absolutely an option. Great question, James. Thank you for throwing that at me. Tessa is saying, evening, M6YMB here. Just a quick one. Mills on the Air is coming up in May 9th and 10th. A lot of contests as such. There are awards available from us, and each mill does have a GMA number, so we'll count towards their contest. Maybe some of your followers might be interested. Tessa, if you want to shoot me an email, if you're still watching, shoot me an email. I would love to kind of maybe we can come up with some sort of a partnership on this. That would be really awesome. So Tessa, if you want to shoot me an email, we can work on that for sure. That would be really, really cool. Let's see here. SF. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Sean W7SWF. Okay. How long before the mug is sent out? I think I think you posted this right after I showed the Life Member mug. Should be pretty quickly if you are having issues getting a hold of your mug, or if maybe it was a Mugs for Map Shares win. Reach out to Catalina Partnerships at hamradioprep.com, and she'll get you squared away on that one. So great question there. Rodney, AE5TX, personal profile settings for bands and modes to reduce the drop downs to a more manageable number. Field day, example, a specific list of bands and modes. So yeah, this is kind of an interesting idea, Rodney. I see where you're coming from. This could get really hairy if you decide last minute, hey, I'm going to throw this extra band in play, or this extra mode that I just learned about in play. And it's really last minute. And so you've got to, dive into settings. I definitely see where you're coming from. This is really interesting. We can absolutely chat about this internally and reach back out to you. Thank you, Rodney, for shooting that over. I see where you're coming from. Chris says he's got a mobile app map bug. Chris, if you could shoot that in as a bug report, use the report a bug button on the mobile app or on the website or on the desktop app, as the case may be, and we'll get you squared away, my friend. Tom, W9TEF, is there a way to customize which color matches to which band in a template? I know it's hard to believe, but for some reason I have opinions. So let's go ahead and just dive in quickly here and see. Honestly, I haven't played with templates a whole ton myself, so I don't think you can set them to lock to specific bands, each color to its own specific band, but you can pick which colors you want to use. You can pick the custom colors right here, But I don't think it's necessarily easily doable um, to assign those uh, uh, to specific bands in at that capacity. So great question, Tom. Once again, I can pass that on to the team internally, and we can take a look at that. So thank you for the suggestion there. Larry says map plotting is very helpful to see how propagation is working for a specific QTH. Indeed, it is, Larry. We were talking about this earlier. Really, really awesome. Yeah, it's incredible. So, playing Radio 716. Hello from Buffalo, New York. I'm new to logging and chose WRL as my first experience as a new ham. Used ham radio prep to get my tech and going for general next week. Thank you. Keep up the great work. These are the kind of comments we love to hear. And I say this a lot, but man, congrats on tech. Have fun getting your general, man. It's, if you studied good, you're going to pass. I mean, if you really studied good and you're comfortable, then go for it, man. It's absolutely incredible. And really excited to hear you come back and tell us that you're a general here next week. So awesome. Can't wait to hear your next success story. Terry has a new tagline for the show. Welcome to Monday Update with Andy. All the news meant to be news. The reports from all over the world, RL, with his co-host James on sports and Miss Catalina with all the big smiles. Indeed, that is kind of how we approach things early in the show. But alas, James and Catalina did need to pop for the last segment. But we'll look forward to seeing them back here most likely next week. Prep Ham Paul, if you're still watching, 16 weeks. And he'll live stream his first CW POTA. Paul, really looking forward to seeing that. Man, you should come up to my neck of the woods so we can do a CW POTA activation together. That would be really fun. So, but yeah, absolutely looking forward to seeing you get on the air, my friend, with CW, and hope to get you in the log soon because that's really, really incredible. Ham KJ5. Okay, yeah, we already talked about the special badge. Look for that coming here in a few weeks. So that's all the comments I had queued up. If you have any other comments, questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Artemis 2 just made it back safely. The 4 astronauts aboard Artemis 2 were in great condition. They were farther from Earth than any human has ever been before. And something that stuck out in their post-flight press conference was the fact that they said the mission commander said that trying to remember how he put it. He said that coming up to the mission, there was all kinds of anticipation, all kinds of looking forward to it. Once he was out there, he was just ready to get home. And being a homebody myself, I totally understand where he's coming from. That is really an interesting perspective, though, because you think about some of the extended time space missions that they're wanting to do. It's going to take a certain kind of human to be able to go on a literal 2-year mission away from Earth to Mars. So we'll see how those kind of things come. And I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the stuff coming up in the future. But yeah, we have a clip. We have a clip of Artemis 2 in Splashdown. So let's go ahead and check out the clip. This is about 7-minute clip. So let's take a look at this. This is really incredible. Let's watch this clip.
Trajectory is nominal, and your recovery teams have visual.
Guidance looks good.
No action for the enabled internal camera controller fail.
Big cheers from the viewing room here in Mission Control as voice communication reestablished with Commander Reed Wiseman. For America and a waiting world, integrity is 5.5 minutes away from coming home. Passing 100,000 feet now. Range to splashdown 19 nautical miles.
Integrity, impact to the camera controller fail is no cab 1 views of the chutes.
Integrity.
We're processing good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity, time to splashdown 4.5 minutes. And a view of Integrity from the WB-57. We're at 50,000 feet. The pyros are armed for forward bay cover jettison.
There go the drogues.
And there go the first series of parachutes. And we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
2 good drogue chutes. Next up,
We copy, we see them.
Next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Perfect descent rate according to flight
Integrity,
dynamics.
good rates on 2 drogues.
We see the same on board.
Passing through 10,000 feet. Still on drogues.
It's so cool. I was watching this live and I was literally walking. Oh, here go the main chutes. Incredible.
Main
I
chute.
was literally walking through Walmart watching this
We're
live.
at 5,000 feet. Search and recovery beacon has been activated on Integrity.
There's full deployment.
And we have 3 good main chutes. Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
Good rates, and we see 3 good-looking parachutes. Integrity, cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
This is a perfect descent for Integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board. Time to splash down 1 minute, 15 seconds.
Such an epic shot of that spacecraft is so cool. And to think that thing just been around the moon.
Integrity about
Incredible.
to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon.
It's hard to get a good picture of the scale of that thing. There's 4 people inside that little capsule. So cool. Incredible.
Passing through 1,000 feet.
The rate at which that thing's moving when it comes in the atmosphere is just unbelievable. But it's slowed down to about the speed of a slow moving car before splashdown.
Houston Integrity splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splash.
Splashdown confirmed.
So epic.
Copy splashdown. Waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07
Oh,
p.m.
man.
Pacific Time.
It never gets old.
Pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon. A new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
That never gets old. That is so incredible to watch. That is just epic. But congratulations to those four amazing astronauts, and a huge thank you from everyone here on Earth for what they were separated from their families for quite some time, and you could tell just from the post mission press conference what that kind of does to your mind is it's kind of weird. It has quite an effect on the folks, but and it's such an epic mission, but at the same time it's so far from the rest of humanity. And so thank you to those four amazing astronauts for doing that for all of us here on Earth, and we're so happy to welcome you back. Such a cool mission for space nerds like myself to watch. A mission like that is just in my lifetime. When I was young, running around learning all about the Apollo missions, I never thought I really didn't think I would see anything like this in my lifetime, and it is so incredible to see us returning to the moon. 60 years after we went the first time, and it's been decades since we've been to the moon. They were running all those moon missions on computers that were less smart than a calculator today, and there's a photo of the lead software engineer for the mission standing next to a pile of papers about yay tall that literally had all the handwritten code that they programmed those Apollo missions on. And it's an incredible thing to see, that they were able to do that with the technology they had then. And it just feels like a completely crazy full circle experience to get to where with such advanced technology now, we're finally getting back to where we can, possibly put a man back on the moon. And I'm looking forward to Artemis 3 and future missions when we're going to actually have some moon landings. It's going to be really cool. This mission did have some ham radio impact. There were ham radio operators that tracked this mission, and with NASA sanctioning, NASA reached out and said, hey, we're looking for volunteers, and there were some ham radio operators that volunteered to help track the mission, which is really, really cool to see. And some other cool stuff I found out about the mission. They saw parts of the moon that humanity has never seen before during that mission, including some asteroid impacts on the moon while they were up there. And that got mission control so excited. And it was so cool to see the mission control on the ground responding to them talking about some of those flashes and impacts they saw on the moon. And on the far side of the moon, they saw some things that humanity's never seen before, and it was so cool to kind of be a part in the and just kind of all of humanity was a part in a sense of this mission, and it's so cool to to be there. I did hear that they took a 10-year-old Nikon camera in order to capture the photos, which was kind of an interesting choice in my book. And some of the pictures were of lower quality than some of the pictures from, say, the Apollo days. One of the reasons being, if I understood it correctly from what I heard, they were taking pictures of the dark side of the moon. So they were taking pictures that were not backlit in any way by the sun. They weren't. Well, actually, they were not front lit by the sun in any way. It was on the dark side of the moon. So they had to have extremely high exposure on those photos in order to get them. So the quality almost looked lower than the photos from the Apollo days. And actually, I think this was what I'm remembering here is actually from the photos they took of the Earth. And in the Apollo days, they took photos where the sun was shining on the Earth. They snapped a photo. Beautiful, beautiful photo. We've probably all seen that. In Artemis 2, they took a photo of the dark side of the Earth. Had to use an extremely high exposure, and it was so cool because they were able to get that side of the moon, even though the picture looks lower quality than those Apollo pictures. It's because the exposure had to be so high. Their ISO had to be set extraordinarily high in order to get that image of the dark side of the Earth, which is just really, really cool. So I could talk about Artemis and Apollo for hours and hours. Looks like there's a couple of you have some comments here in the chat. Paul says, and where did my who knows where my mouse went? Here we go. There we go. So Paul says he was looking forward to and then enjoyed the high-res pictures and was not disappointed. The side of the moon and all the craters. How many asteroid hits the moon is taken? It's crazy. Yes. Paul says, look for the shots on the side, left half dark, left half right. Insane amount of craters. Yes, is really epic. And Ham KJ5 said they did take their iPhones. I wonder how those came out. I'm sure there will be a commercial soon. I'm sure there will be. Yeah, that is really something. The first smartphones to go around the moon for sure. That's really epic. But guys, thank you so much for coming along on a fantastic show today, and great to see everyone here. And looking forward to catching you all next week for another show, another episode of the World Radio League show. Guys, be sure and go and log all kinds of contacts this week. Have a lot of fun out there. Get some pod activations in the log before that propagation hit on Friday or Saturday. Get out there on today and tomorrow, Wednesday, those good days, and make some contacts. Great to see every last one of you. And from here in the Blue Barn Studios and from the World Radio League show, a huge 73 to every one of you, and a little bit smaller 72 because it's QRP. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next week. From November 0, Alpha Papa X-Ray, I am clear. Did.
You